Welcome back to the channel. In this video today we're going to be going over the Stamina Necromancer. Now, the setup can be relatively easy to get, but at the same time it can be also kind of a pain. But in the end, I've really enjoyed it. I've had a lot of fun using it, and here it is. So, go ahead and jump into it. Max health is 17.2k, max stamina is 32.2k, my stamina recovery is 1.4k unbuffed. My weapon damage is 3.1k unbuffed, and my weapon crit is 41.6%. Now, I have 64 points into stamina. The boon I'm running is dubious, and I have the Shadow Mundus activated. So, honestly, my crit should be a little higher than that. I don't know why. Sometimes this goes up, sometimes it goes down. Sometimes it's around 51, other times it'll drop. I think it might be a little glitch. I'm not sure, to be dead honest with you. But either way, let's just go ahead and keep going into the build. Champion points. I have 38 and 37 into Sprinter, 9 into Bashing Focus, 18 into Warlord, 64 Tenacity, 64 Mooncalf, 34 Shadow Ward, 44 Tumbling, 33 Physical Weapon Expert, 48 Master at Arms, 40 Thermometer, 61 Precise Strike, 24 Piercing, 64 Mighty, 36 Medium Armor Focus, 35 Spell Shield, 28 Ironclad, 64 Hardy, 64 Elemental Defender, and 43 Quick Recovery. So, sets. The first 5-piece set we are running is Aegis Collar. This is a set that comes out on Hallowed Grave, and I really like it. I like the little animation that it summons. I think it's really cool. I'm running a Nern two-hander, Greatsword, with a Absorb Stamina enchant on it. If you would like to, this just makes me hit a little bit harder, but if you would like to increase your crit chances, you can always run Precise. That's good as well. Pack bar, we have a Maelstrom Bow infused with a weapon damage enchant. And if you don't have a Maelstrom Bow, by all means, you can use Aegis Collar. You know, you just want it to be infused and put a weapon damage enchant on it. I mean, I was able to get one of these both by the time I was able to get a great sword, a dagger, and an axe. So I was able to get just about everything. But I find myself more leaning toward a two-handed weapon on the Stamcrow, just because of the fact that I'm not a big fan of Ricochet Skull. I just don't know why it feels off to me. So I like to either use Cleave, Wrecking Blow, or Rending Slashes. That's my spammable. So if you like, by all means, you can use Ricochet Skull if you like it and you want to use it. But right now I'm using a two-hander, and I switch up on what my spammable is depending on the content that I'm doing. But what Aegis Collar does is that it gives us weapon damage, stamina recovery, weapon damage, and when you deal critical melee damage, you summon a lesser Aegis for 11 seconds. After 2.5 seconds, the lesser Aegis spins its blades, dealing 5.5k bleed damage every 1 second. This effect can occur once every 12 seconds. Now, I don't know why. I really like the animation. I think it looks really cool, so I love to use it. Now, we're running a Greatsword, and we're running Jewelry. All with weapon damage enchant. And one of the necklace is a different set, but we have a Divine's body piece on the body to make up for that. One of my necklace just kind of vanished on me. I logged in, and it was gone. I have no idea where it went. So, luckily, I had a body piece of Divine's, and I just switched out the necklace for the other 5-piece set. So, either way. The monster set we're using is Crags. I'm running Divine's Heavy Helmet with max stamina, and Independent Shoulders with max stamina and medium. Now, you do want Divine's if you can get it, but like I said, I'm just going to keep shooting my luck with the keys until I get it. Divine's. So, what this does, it gives us physical protection, and when you deal, it gives us physical penetration. And when you deal damage, you have a 10% chance to spawn drag limbs that create shockwaves in front of you, dealing 1.8k physical damage every 0.4 seconds for 1.2 seconds. This effect can occur once every 3 seconds. Now, Crags is probably the easiest you're going to get. It's going to come from Stronghold Grotto 1. It is extremely easy. Followed by Celine's Web. Of course, you'll want all these in Divines with max stamina. What this does, it gives you max stamina. When you deal melee damage, you have 15% chance to call on a primal spirit that mauls the closest enemy in front of you after 1.3 seconds. for 18k physical damage. This effect can occur once every 4 seconds. And then you have Veldreth. What this will do is it give you weapon damage, and when you deal damage, you have a 20% chance to spawn 3 disease spores in front of you. After 1 second, that deals 14.5k disease damage to the first enemy they hit. This effect can occur once every 8 seconds. This comes from Cradle of Shadows. This dungeon isn't necessarily complicated. It is hard on vet, but it really just depends on the dungeon. Has always been kind of buggy, and that's been one of the major issues. Outside of that, I mean, as long as you have communication, everything should run smooth. But it being as buggy as it is, this can kind of be a pain to get into. So if this comes from Selenium and this comes from Fungal, starting out, these would be the two you'd want to go for first. Now, the second 5-piece set we're running is from Pillar of the Nern. It comes from Falkreath Hold, and I've always wanted to use this set. I like it. I didn't use it so much though when it first came out, but now with the proc, it just kind of helps knowing when it goes off, and I think the proc looks pretty cool as well. So I decided to give it a shot, and I actually quite enjoyed it. So what this set does is that it gives us max stamina, weapon crit, and weapon damage, and when you deal damage, you have a 10% chance to create a fissure underneath the enemy after 1 second, dealing 2.7k physical damage to all enemies within 2.5 meters, and causing them to bleed for an additional 14.7k physical damage over 10 seconds. This effect can occur once every 10 seconds. So we're running that on the body and divines. Of course, we have Aegis Collar boots here, and we have the Pillar of the Nern necklace here because, well, like I said, my necklace disappeared, so I just kind of threw a body piece on. So, now, if you do not have these sets, if you can get Pillar of the Nern or you can get Aegis Collar in the body. It is on normal. The dungeons are really easy, really easy. On vet, on the Hollow Grave, isn't as complicated as I thought it would be. I really thought it'd be a whole lot harder than that, but it was not. I mean, the first time I did it and Ice Reach. Now hard mode is a different story, but just normal vet, not doing hard mode. I finished it with randoms with 0 communication. And it was kind of a breeze, honestly. But anyways, so as long as you get one of these sets, there is another set that you can rock with it. It is called Swamp Raiders. It comes from Shadowfen, and what that's going to do is it's going to give you 400 increased damage to your poison and disease damage abilities, and a lot of Stamina Necro's abilities are disease and poison abilities, so that can help you there as well. Or you can just get one of these and craft you some New Moon Acolyte. All that will work. So, skills. Like I said, I'm using the two-handed, so I'm using Carve as my spammable here. Focus your strength into a mighty swing, dealing 7.1k physical damage to enemies in front of you and causing them to bleed for an additional 8k physical damage over 10 seconds. So, if I know I'm going to be focused on a single target enemy, for the most part, I'm going to use Reckon Below. Because this is going to do 11.2k physical damage, and it grants me Empower for 5 second, increasing damage of your next light attack by 40%. So, just burning through dungeons with randoms. Most of the time I'm using Reckon Blow, but if I get into a trial with people that I know, then I'm going to be using Reckon Blow for the most part. So, and then we have Blast Bones here. You summon a decay skeleton from the ground after 2.5 seconds. The skeleton runs around the target and explodes when it gets close to them, dealing 14.7k disease damage to all enemies nearby, and apply Major Defile to them for 4 seconds, reducing their healing received and health recovery by 30%, creates a corpse on death. Executioner, spin around and strike an enemy dealing 4.9k physical damage and deals up to 400% more damage to enemies with less than 50%. This is your execute. This is what I use this. Usually I don't start running this until the boss is about 25%, and then I'll just start executing away, and this can hit extremely hard in that situation. So Detonating Siphon violently drains the last spark of life from a corpse, dealing 19.6k disease damage over 12 seconds to all enemies around the corpse and between you and the corpse. If the siphon's lasts its full duration, it causes the corpse to explode, dealing an additional 7.3k disease damage to all enemies around the corpse. This ability scales off your highest offensive stats, while solid your damage done is increased by 3%. And then we have Camouflage Thunder here. While slaughtered, you gain Major Savagery, increasing your weapon critical rating by 2.1. You also gain Minor Berserk for 2 seconds after you deal critical damage from an enemy's flank, increasing your damage done by 8%. And then we have Pestilence Colossus as our ultimate. Unleash a pleasant... I don't know why I can't talk right now. Unleash a pestilent flesh colossus to pulverize enemies in the area. The colossus smashes the ground 3 times over 3 seconds, dealing 11.7, 12.3, and 12.9 disease damage with the first, second, and third smash. Dealing damage applies major vulnerability to any enemy hit for 8 seconds, increasing their damage taken by 30%. Enemies cannot be affected again for 20 seconds. So, we are running this on our front and back bar. The reason being is because the passives in this is that, where is it? Increase your critical strike hits against enemies under 25% health by 10% for each Graves Lord ability slot. So we're going to get an extra 30% critical strike chance there, just for having that there. So, but like I was saying, if you want to use Flame Skull as your spammable, you would morph it into Venom Skull, which would basically lob an explosive skull at an enemy, dealing 8.8k poison damage. Every third cast of the ability deals 20% increased damage while slotted. Casting any Necromancer ability while you are in combat will count towards the third cast. So if you want to, you can still run this, but just spam replace Carve with Venom Skull. That's up to you. I like Carve or Wrecking Blow more than Venom Skull. It's just a personal preference. If you don't want to run Pestilence on your front bar as well as your back bar, run Flawless Dawnbreaker on your front bar. Or run Pestilence on your front bar and run Ballista on your back bar. Ballista is the ultimate, and Dawnbreaker, of course, is the Fire Shield ability. So, back bar, Endless Hell. Launch a multitude of arrows into the sky to rain down, dealing 1.4k physical damage to enemies in the target area every 1 second for 9 seconds after a 2-second delay. The duration lasts for 11 seconds, but when this is fully leveled up, it should last for 14 seconds, if I'm not mistaken. Arrow Barrage lasts for 10 or 11 seconds as well. So, but with the way the rotation works, the 14-second Endless Hell tends to work a little more for me. Skeleton Archer. This lasts 16 seconds. You unearth the skeletal archer from the dirt to fight by your side for 16 seconds. The archer attacks the closest enemy every 2 seconds, dealing 2.7k physical damage each time the archer deals damage. Its next attack will do 5% more damage than the previous attack's. Create a corpse on death. Now, with this activated, as you can see, I'll go ahead and show you here. Our recovery is at 1.4. So when you activate this, I'll just bar swap. Our recovery goes up to 1.6. So having this up will give us more sustain as well. Plus it does damage. And I mean, just look at that. It looks pretty cool. I like having that little thing chase. It looks like you got your own little Dark Brotherhood assassin there. Pretty cool. So, back part we have Vigor. Let loose a battle cry. Selling yourself resolve and healing for 12.9k health over 4 seconds. Detonate and Siphoning. We have this on our front and back part because this is going to increase our damage by 3% while just being slotted. And then we have Barb Trapped on the back bar. When trigger, the trap deals 4k physical damage. You take an additional 14.1k physical damage over 16 seconds and grants you minor force, increasing your critical damage by 10% for the duration. So it lasts for 16 seconds. The damage is going to last for a little bit, but you want that minor force, so you're going to recast it just about every second rotation. So now, pots and stuff like that, we're going to use our, as it's a weapon power pot, I must still have them in my bank. So let me grab those out real quick just to show you what they are. May jump up through here as soon as I can find them. Boy, what did I do with them? Alright. They might be on another tune at the moment. That might be where they are. I could have sworn. But, so most of you're going to want to use your Essence a Weapon Power Pot or your or the pots from the store, which I think you can find some in the Crown Trade. So I'll just shoot down here to show you which ones. Here we go. Like the warrior elixirs are the ones that's going to give you stamina, major endurance, major brutality, and major savagery. So these can work as well as essence of weapon power pots. It's up to you on what you can use. You can also use the alliance droughts that gives you the exact same thing that costs AP. Just up to you on what you want to run. So anyways, you're going to buff up with your essence of weapon power pot originally. You will summon your archer. You will, and then what I like to do is that before I DPS test, before I go in, blast bones, rearming trap, endless hell, bar swap, siphon. As you can see, that was Pillar of the Nern, and that is Aegis Collar. Bring that back. Wrong button. Bring it up, and as you go off, detonate. It's really simple. It's really easy. And then you just kind of, I'm trying to bit back so you can see the procs from Aegis and from Pillar of the Nern. Now, let's see. There's Aegis Collar, of course. That's what that does. I just think that's really cool. And then as you can see right there, the little rocks that came up out of the ground, that was Pillar of the Nern. So we'll let it go down. Hopefully, we can just get that to trigger. Oh, there goes Aegis. There goes Pillar. And as you can see, they kind of go off together, normally at the same time. So it works. It wonders. I really like them two together. I really like the way the set looks in general. So I have a lot of fun with it, and I hope you do too. As always, pretty sure I've covered just about everything. So if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you'd like to see more casual builds like this. And until next time, take care.